here's Brody Brazil.
You know, I saw this headline come across today, and I was not surprised in the least. That Salt Lake City is putting its name out there for potential expansion with a Major League Baseball franchise. Not surprised because mostly the timing here. It makes a lot of sense. You've got the Oakland A's and you've got the Tampa Bay Rays, and as soon as they get permanently situated, it's been established. Commissioner Rob Manfred said as much last summer that Major League Baseball will be adding 2 more franchises. He said, I would love to get to 32 or something like that. So with Oakland maybe at the end of its journey and trying to figure out, will they stay in Oakland? What's the situation in Las Vegas? With Tampa getting some wheels moving, potentially rebuilding on the site of Tropicana Field, it does seem like now, if you're interested in getting an expansion team, now is the time to put your name out there, to make it known that you want to be a candidate. By the way, at the end of this video, I'll list all the cities that have expressed interest to a certain degree, and I'm actually going to tell you what my opinion is, which city I think for sure is going to get one, and also which one I think is the closest runner-up. But again, that'll come later on in this video. I do have to tell you that all this news and information is being reported by ESPN.com. I'll take away some of the things from the article in summary, but other parts like this, I'll read it directly, beginning with the first couple sentences. A Salt Lake City consortium, I said consortium, led by the former owner of the Utah Jazz, plans to pursue a Major League Baseball franchise in the coming years, touting the area's population growth, strong economy, and baseball history as draws for a coveted expansion slot, people involved with the project told ESPN. Big League Utah, a group headed by longtime Jazz owner Gail Miller, will join Nashville's Music City Baseball and the Portland Diamond Project in lobbying to join the current 30 MLB organizations. Las Vegas, considered a prime destination for a franchise, has emerged as a strong candidate if the Oakland A's relocate. Now, I think that word and that part "if" is important in there because you'd have to think in this entire process that the A's have expressed parallel paths and they're searching for possibilities in Southern Nevada. That at the end of this, if, and hopefully, in my opinion, if Oakland stays in Oakland, that Las Vegas will have been enticed by this point to go out and seek their own Major League Baseball franchise via expansion, right? They'd have to be a front runner, I would think, at the end of all this, because all the research, all the work, all the groundwork the A's would have done to see what's possible down there. Again, more on that later on, but I think it's important to understand Las Vegas, while they might be talking to, with, and about the A's, like they're also going to shoot for this as well too if they do not get Oakland to relocate. Quote, Salt Lake City is a major league city, said Steve Starks, CEO of the Miller Company. We believe that as a top 30 media market, I'm going to have to double check that one, top 30 media market in the fastest growing state in the country with the youngest population, that's where our attention should be. And that we could accomplish bringing a team to the Wasatch Front. Did I say that right? I don't even know what that means. I know that's a local piece of geography, but obviously Mr. Starks trying to keep it local, trying to grab people's attention there. Starks also said the group surveyed local fans about their favorite sports leagues for potential expansion, and that MLB was the top choice, ahead of even the NFL. Come on. The NFL is king right now. Football is king. And you're telling me that if you asked people from Salt Lake City, you get your choice of anything to come here, what would you like? NFL, baseball, basketball? Well, you've got the Utah Jazz. What would you like? You'd like baseball over the NFL? That's surprising. And would you also have included that information in this if it were football? No, of course not. That's very interesting. Believable? Not necessarily, but interesting, absolutely. Quote, it would be, I think, a validation of everything that we've worked so hard to do, Utah Governor Spencer Cox told ESPN. Quote, we've proven ourselves in a sports capacity with the Olympics in 2002 and coming back in 2030 or more likely 2034. I didn't know about that, by the way. We've hosted 2 NBA All-Star games. We know we can do this. It would just be meaningful for people who love this sport, who care deeply about it. We're a baseball state. Okay, a lot of states are. And by the way, I mean, apples and oranges, and I even mean the Utah Jazz versus Major League Baseball. 41 games versus 81 every summer versus winter, and hosting an all-star game, totally different than drawing baseball crowds. But you know what? The Olympics are also a different flavor here too. So I could say apples and oranges, but we got apples and oranges and carrots and potatoes. We got a little bit of everything here. These are all different things. I don't know that it all makes sense to say that baseball could truly be successful and thrive here. I'm not trying to knock it. I'm just saying these are all different things. So pay attention to what's actually being said. As for Salt Lake City, they've got the Bees, who are the AAA affiliate of the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. And last year they drew almost 6,000 fans per game, which was about 18th across minor league baseball. So respectable. And by the way, they're building this team a brand new stadium for, I think, next year or the year after. So, like, baseball is on the rise in Salt Lake City. They've found a way to justify building them a brand new venue. It must be a big enough deal, and we'll see what their new venue will draw. Maybe they'll sell the place out with 10,000 every night. I mean, Las Vegas is basically doing that with the Aviators. Could Salt Lake City do it? I don't know. Salt Lake City is also quick to tout, and this was mentioned in the ESPN.com piece, that Salt Lake City is a larger market. Now, I don't think we're talking exactly about population. Is it media market? I don't know how we're measuring these markets, but larger market than San Diego, Kansas City, Cincinnati, and Milwaukee. Now, look, Milwaukee's got NBA and Major League Baseball, and I think they've got minor league hockey too. San Diego almost lost their baseball team a couple years ago. They did lose their NFL team. Kansas City has lost teams over the years, but they also have the NFL and Major League Baseball. So I think the point is here, if we're measuring Salt Lake City by what? Population, which I'll have for you in just a second, by media size, which I don't know if that's necessarily a fair assessment. Ultimately, what you're looking for is support, either in fans, attendance, sponsorships, endorsements, partnerships, all that stuff. I think Salt Lake City, quite honestly, I've been to a lot of those cities right there, and I've been to Salt Lake City too. I think Salt Lake City is a tad smaller than even those four mentioned right there. So I don't know what the measurement is, but I don't know that it can truly say that it's bigger than all four of those. The metropolitan population, so not just Salt Lake City, but all the suburbs, in 2023 is 1.2 million, which is a 0.92% increase from 2022. And I think there was like a 1% increase from 2021. No question. They're growing. They're bustling. Is that the right word? Whatever. They're moving, right? They're moving along, and good for them. But 1.2 million is not a lot. Just not a big population. Look at the city of Salt Lake City. They don't say that, do they? In 2021, that's the last census numbers we have here, 200,000, which is 122nd among major U.S. cities. I'm also not here to say that you need a great population to have a pro sports franchise. Look at the Green Bay Packers. They pack Lambeau Field. Like, you don't always need it. It certainly helps to be a bigger metropolitan area and to draw from all over. That's the other part about it. We talk about Utah as the fastest growing population state. Well, outside of Salt Lake City and in Provo, where else in the state are you drawing from? I mean, even like with Nevada to the west or to the north and the south, like where Salt Lake City is just very isolated. 80 runs right through it, and then there's not much for a couple hundred more miles. So here's the other thing that Salt Lake City is going to have, like whether they want it or not, and that's competition for MLB expansion franchises. Portland's been out there for a lot of years. You'd have to think that they're pretty established in like who's running that show, what they would do at the stadium, how they could politically leverage themselves into getting a venue and a stadium in Portland. Charlotte's been lurking, and I don't know the who and how and when and timeline for them, but I know they've been long associated with Major League Baseball expansion. Montreal already had the Expos for a lot of years, then lost them to becoming the Washington Nationals. So maybe baseball would favor that too, going back to a place that they're comfortable with, that's got some history, that's an instant spark they could build on. I think they need a new venue than Olympic Stadium, then that might be easy or difficult, but all these places will need a new ballpark. I get to the last two cities here, and I got to tell you, in terms of expansion, now, I'm going to take relocation with the Oakland A's and Las Vegas off the table. I'm going to pretend right now that's not happening. Just for the context and the purpose of expansion only. If you're looking at Nashville, I think they're already in. I'm saying that not as somebody with inside knowledge, not because I'm friends with Dave Stewart, who will be an owner of the Nashville Stars when I'm pretty sure they become a Major League Baseball franchise. Look, Major League Baseball has scheduled their 2023 winter meetings in Nashville, in Music City. I'm pretty sure that Nashville is already a front runner to become one of the next two big league cities. And like I said, there's no privileged information here. I'm not spilling the beans on anything. This is all pure gut instinct and observations. And yeah, I think Nashville's in. So it really leaves the question here of Salt Lake City or Portland, Salt Lake City or Charlotte, Salt Lake City or Montreal, Salt Lake City or Las Vegas. I mean, if you had those two choices, and it's not to knock Salt Lake City, I'm just saying the options for you in Las Vegas are a little bit more plentiful in terms of attendance, in terms of partnerships, in terms of a lot of different things. And again, this is not to pit Oakland against Las Vegas. This is not that video, if that's what you're searching for here. I'm saying Salt Lake City versus Las Vegas. I don't see how you would not choose Las Vegas as a clean slate over Salt Lake City. I at this juncture. And again, it's not a knock against Salt Lake City. It's just kind of the way I see it right now. So interesting, right? And I do want to say, I think it's very justified for them to be putting all of this together. It's very timely, considering that the A's and Rays may know a lot more about their situations by the end of this calendar year. And if you're Salt Lake City, you got to start organizing things right now. So if they get a team, I'd be happy for them. And I don't want to diminish their efforts. I'm curious to see how all of this shakes out. Let me know what you think about it in the comments section below. Thumbs up on this video if you enjoyed it. And don't forget, subscribe to the channel. I'd love to see you next time.